Okay, so no offense to Ryan Reynolds, but there's never really been a proper live-action Green Lantern. The hero has been plagued by disappointing screen adaptations that just don't live up to the character that was created all the way back in 1959. But now, we've got Green Lantern on HBO. That's home box office. Here are 10 reasons why you should be hyped for the new Green Lantern. Welcome back to The Binger. The producer of the new show, Greg Berlanti, is setting the expectations very, very high, making claims that will be hard to live up to. He said the new Green Lantern is gonna be, and this is a direct quote, like nothing ever seen on television. Okay, strong words, but he's also gone on the record saying that it promises to be the biggest DC show ever made. No matter how you feel about Smallville or the Arrowverse, this statement is less strong. DC TV so far hasn't exactly been big. It's been complicated, and there have been a lot of crossovers, but the CGI still looks about 15 years old.
When the ones you love turn their back on you, that's pain, but you'll see.
If you're worried about the new Green Lantern suffering the same tasteless cable drama fate as its cousin over on the CW, you can rest easy. This one will be on HBO. So we basically got a money-back, top-quality guarantee. This is the network that brought us shows like The Wire, The Sopranos, which are two of the all-time greats. And they did Game of Thrones, which was good for a while. HBO doesn't have ads, which means their shows aren't beholden to flattening demands of advertisers. The only demands HBO has to take into account are its viewers, who pay a subscription fee, which I guess everybody kinda does nowadays. HBO has also proven themselves capable of handling superhero content, after dipping their toes into the water with their version of Watchmen. Another thing we can expect from an HBO-produced Green Lantern is a focus on characters over spectacle. Think of all the iconic moments in HBO shows. They're all driven by a character. Characters that feel like they're your real friends. Like, take Omar from The Wire. He's a serial criminal, but you can't help loving the guy. In a very contradictory, ethically compromised world, his sense of right and wrong is airtight and probably more correct than anybody else's in the show. Tony Soprano, he's a murderous crime boss, but just look at him smile. Hopefully HBO's Greg Berlanti will bring the same humanity to the new Green Lantern, instead of the CGI masked Ryan Reynolds of 2011. Speaking of which, Greg Berlanti, the producer of the new Green Lantern, was also one of the writers on the 2011 attempt, the one that bombed in every way. Now, before you go getting worried that he'll botch it again, think about how much he must have learned. Failure, especially a dramatic, comical failure like Green Lantern, is a humbling experience. In the 8 years since that unfortunate attempt at a movie, Berlanti has been likely doing some soul-searching. He's taken a backseat as a writer, and produced pretty much the whole Arrowverse. Not only has Berlanti changed from the last time, so has CGI. The effects used to paint on Ryan Reynolds' mask and suit looked more like they were from 2001 than 2011. The parallax, which is supposed to be an existential threat to Earth and its inhabitants, looked more like a rough draft. Even though effects aren't the core of a movie, it's hard to notice anything else, especially when bad CGI is the main character's face for the entire movie. But things have come a long way since then, and if you want to remain hyped, we recommend ignoring some of the effects in the recent Arrowverse shows. One of the major criticisms of the last Green Lantern was that it didn't spend nearly enough time in space. That's all about to change. One of the only things we actually know about the new show is that, in the words of Greg, we will be going to space. This will be a welcome change from bumming around old planet Earth, where the extent of Hal Jordan's, Jon Stewart's, or whoever else's green powers can't be put on display in the same way. The new Green Lantern will also be a package deal. The announcement came along with another show called Strange Adventures. Greg Berlanti describes it as a 1-hour drama series that will explore close-ended morality tales about the intersecting lives of mortals and superhumans. Although a prospect of a morality tale done by the same person who wrote Green Lantern seems suboptimal, the intersection of the everyday and the super sounds promising. Plus, it's an anthology series, so it will have the freedom to introduce all sorts of characters from across the DC universe. It could be a testing ground that sows the seed for future crossovers and universes. If you're holding your breath for the long in development Green Lantern Corps, don't worry, this show has nothing to do with it. The movie about the interstellar green cops will be sidelined to make the new HBO show. But if the past 5 years have been anything to go by, they're probably not gonna rush to get it out either. Okay, so it won't be the Green Lantern Corps. But on the other hand, we now have an idea of how many Green Lanterns they're planning on including. So here's to hoping we get a proper squad. The Green Lantern first debuted in a bi-monthly DC comic series called Showcase in 1959. Since then, there have been countless comic book versions of the character, but few screen adaptations that have held any water. This is, of course, the animated Jon Stewart of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. But in the live-action department, DC hasn't given us much. DC, HBO, if you're watching this, it's about time we have a proper Green Lantern. So, do you believe the hype? Will this Green Lantern actually live up to the comic book character? Let us know in the comments down below. And subscribe to The Binger for all your DC needs.